Hey, welcome to today's Tax Talk. It is Thursday, September 14th, the year of our Lord 2023. This is a podcast where we dissect what's really going on in the world of the IRS. I'm your host, I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, and today we've got a hot topic that's going to raise some eyebrows. We're talking about the IRS, President Biden's promises, and what the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration has to say about it all. And folks, let's just say it doesn't look good for President Biden's administration or for taxpayers for that instance. Won't you join me? Okay, so remember President Biden's pledge not to increase audits on households or small businesses making less than $400,000 a year. That was always they always hedged that anyway. Was it $400,000 that they made net? Was it gross? A lot of businesses make $400,000 a year, but they don't net that much. So they were always hedging on that. So they never really give you much of an answer. But remember also Treasury Secretary Yellen's pledge. She said, the proportion's going to stay the same. Or the new IRS Commissioner, Danny Werfel's pledge, where he said, hold me accountable. If this doesn't happen, hold me accountable. Well, it turns out that it might not be as straightforward as it sounds. The Treasury Inspector General released a report that casts doubt on the feasibility of this promise. And this is why. Now, you may be wondering, why is this so complicated? Believe it or not, the IRS has been using income definitions that date back to 1976. We're talking about a $200,000 income standard that hasn't been adjusted for inflation or economic changes in over 4 decades. Mind-blowing, right? What does that mean? That means that the IRS still says if you make $200,000 a year, you're the rich, right? You're the high-income person. But we know that was from 1976. That was true then. It is not true now. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The Inspector General recommended that the IRS should, at the very least, update its high income definition to align with Biden's $400,000 specification. But guess what? The IRS said no. They argued that they need the agility to target whoever they wish, leaving them with the broad mandate that doesn't necessarily line up with current administration guidelines or promises or anybody else's. We talked about this when this was happening, that this wasn't going to happen. One of the things that this report also talks about is training. How are you going to train people to go after high income people if you don't train them with lower income people first? I've been saying that all along. It's not just about outdated numbers, though. The Inspector General criticized the IRS for having no common understanding of what high income even means. That sort of ambiguity leads to inefficiencies and potentially less productive audits. So, what does that mean for you, the taxpayer? First, don't take political promises at face value. Do I have to tell you that? Right? We all know that. Second, be aware that the IRS, by its own admission, wants to maintain the flexibility to audit across a wide range of income levels, regardless of what any administration says. So in short, skepticism is your friend when navigating the convoluted landscape of tax regulations and government pledges, especially the IRS. That wraps up today's eye-opening episode of today's Tax Talk. Thank you for joining us. Go to opentax.com and sign up for my newsletter. It's free. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and share the podcast. Until next time, stay informed and stay free. Out.